Well, now, if you ask me without any shy or blink of an eye, I would say this is the worst business that you can start in 2025, or even now. You don't have to wait to 2025 to prove me right or wrong, okay? The point is, this is the worst, because guess what? I have like close to 10 clients who called me and told me, you know what, Joseph, just make a video about this business, because it is the worst. I have the bad experience with it. It is not the business that I can advise somebody who, especially someone who is starting. Let's say you've never been into business, or you have ever been to business and you do not have some sort of, what do you call it, like cash flow or something of so. You're barely getting started by. At times, it may say, when you're starting this business, by the way, there is this feeling of, wow, I'm winning. Everything is great. Everything gonna be okay. And at the end of the day, as you study the business, you tend to realize it's denying you the cash flow. And the one thing that you're supposed to understand, businesses survive on vitamin M, and that is money. If your business does not have the money, you're doomed. You're gone. And by the way, did you know this, that businesses don't fail? The people who fail. Anyway, this is good, Joseph. And if you'd like to know what business am I talking about, or what you need to do is to sit back, relax, grab yourself a popcorn and whatever the thing you love, and guess what? For the next 15 minutes, I'm going to share you substantive information. And by the way, don't forget to subscribe, because this is kind of the videos that I upload each and every day. So the moment you subscribe, and what is to subscribe? There is a small button written subscribe in black there. If you hit that button, guess what happens now? You'll be notified whenever I upload a new good video. And like the video and leave me a comment on the comment section. Let's go to the business before you start, hey, what's the business? Now, the business is none other than having what we call the supply business. What exactly am I talking when you say supply? Let's say, for example, you are a farmer, or maybe you're not a farmer. You can buy some product from a farm and supply them to some places like a supermarket, hypermarket, grocery store, institutions. I'm telling you, if there is a worst business that you can ever do, is this. And I'm going to explain to you why. See, you buy these products, maybe you supply some onions to a certain hotel. Yeah, sure, or hotel. Institutions here can actually be a school, can be a hotel, can be a hospitality industry, can be a park, can be whatever it is. It is an institution. I'm telling you, this is a business. For example, let's say you can... I had a client, we were talking about the mushroom thing. The guy grows mushrooms, sometimes doesn't grow everything that he supplies. He buys from fellow farmers and supplies to supermarkets, but supplies to hypermarkets, to grocery stores, to places and what have you. Or maybe you've been given a tender by a school, supply us water. Or maybe you've been given by a school, hey, supply us fruits and something. I'm telling you, it's a business, it's a venture that at the beginning you feel like, guess what? Me having a supply of this big institution, boom, I'm gonna make the money. And let me tell you one thing, if there is something that this business usually denies a lot of business people with, is something called liquidity. You don't have the liquidity. Liquidity in the sense that you don't have cash. I had a client who we were having a conversation. The guy is a principal and the guy supplies stationaries. Stationaries are these things like, staplers, staple pens, and whatever, staple pins, and I mean, like those stationary things. I don't know whether you call them in your country, because I understand that I get watched by different people from their country, okay? From different countries. So now what happens is that this guy used to supply or supplies those products to different people. So you're in a situation whereby, let's say you have like 5 institutions, A, B, C, D, E, right? So you got the supply for this institution, and maybe you supplied them a product maybe worth like, say, 100,000, because it's an institution. And then maybe the agreement was they were to pay you in 5 days' time. And this money means a lot to you, because you need to go back with this money to the market to be able to grab the next product, to supply to the next client, or even supply to the same people. 2 things happens here. Number 1, the 5 days lapses, they have not paid you. Excuses. Number 1, or we have somebody who needs to do the signing is not around. And when that person who was supposed to do the signing is around, the one who told you that the other one is not around is not around. So you realize the sign or the check would be signed. So what you do, you wait. And then in that process, whatever you supplied them exhausts. They ask you, hey, because you are a supplier, and at the end of the day, we're going to pay you, supply us with other products. There you are. What do? You go borrow. Maybe you borrow from your circle, or you borrow from your institution, or whatever the thing, or a bank, or whatever it is. You borrow so that you want to supply to these people. Be like, okay, they want to pay me the 100,000. So let me just go ahead and throw the 50K that they're asking. You supply them. And then they tell you, hey, guess what? In 3 days' time, we're going to pay you all of it. The day 1 comes, no payment. The day 2 comes, no payment. The day 3, you are waiting your 100,000, the initial 100,000 plus the 50K. So you're actually expecting 150K. Why? You want to get that money as badly as you can, because institution B also told you, hey, guess what? You had actually, sort of left at whatever the thing it is there. Now they called you, they're telling you to supply that. And here you are. You are like, guess what? I'm going to also open a what? Another client on that particular place. So instead of them giving you the 150K, guess how much they give you? 100. If you are too lucky, maybe they give you 50 or they give you 80. You are short by 70K. What happens now? They tell you, hey, suppliers. Or they can actually tell you, they can sort of quote unquote sort of ignore it to tell you to supply. So what do? You go to the institution B. Institution B with the 770,000, you buy the product, you supply them. The same case happens now. The moment you realize you actually have like 5 institutions trailing with your cash. And when you do all the summation, you realize that you have like 1 million in supplies that are not being paid. And guess what happens now? Circles and the banks that actually lend you that money, they don't want no shit. They just want to back their money. They want to know, hey, guess what? Yo, you said you're going to pay us. Where is the money? Hey, you told us that you have a car. Hey, we can actually repossess that car. We can have that car for us. You told us that you have a land. You gave us your title deed or whatever the thing that you used as what we call the security of your loan. In that case scenario, you get yourself in an entanglement, in a situation, not that you are broke. No, you're not broke. People have made you broke. You have the money. You have supplied all these people. You have borrowed money. You have supplied the products. And then to a point now, you start asking them, hey, pay me, pay me. And the same process, there is one big thing that happens. And this is the big thing. These people, yes, you feel so bitter about them, but you still need them. So you're not in a situation whereby you can just show up to their place with auctioneers or show up with the police officers and sort of ask for your money in a very, chesty way or something of sort, because you still need them. This is your customers, but they are toxic, they harass you, but you still need them. So you get yourself in this toxic relationship between you and the guys whom you're supplying to situation whereby you don't even know what you can be able to do. You don't have the money. If you have a family, your wife probably is so mad at you. It thinks like you're not even doing a good business. I'm telling you, to this kind of a situation, I've handled a lot of clients in this situationship. And I tell them, you know what? The moment you open the door of leniency in the business, if they say it is 5 days, strictly let it be 5 days. You would rather lose that client or a customer, but by the way, you would rather even have like 2 or 3 who are committed. And by the way, the other mistake that people tend to think like is everyone is your client. No. Everyone is not your client. Everyone is not a customer. Everyone is not somebody who buys from. Some people, for example, those guys who sell the Ferraris, the Lamborghini, McLaren, and whatever they think they sell, those high-end cars, the Rolls and the Bentley, they have their own specific. You cannot show up to the place, your budget is for buying I was about to say, I won't name the car. So you are about to buy that car, and then you're showing up to the place and you're really trying to negotiate. Even if you are no matter how good you are a bargainer or a negotiator you are, you cannot be able to get a car from that particular place if you do not meet. They have their own specific people whom they do what? They sell to. You have to understand. You get what I'm saying? So the situation is this. This is how most of the people tend to manipulate you. I myself, for those who people have been with me for quite a long time, they know I was in the interior design. I was involved in the painting, the interiors and whatever. And I'm telling you, if there is an industry that is so nasty, it's the construction industry in Kenya. It is a booming industry. It is there. But I'm telling you, the kind of a relationship that is there, it is very unhealthy, very selfish. People are so much by them for themselves and what have you. And by the way, I understand. Our country, Kenya, is a capitalist nation. But I'm telling you, they manipulate you to a point whereby I used to supply these things, you offer labor and then they bargain on the basis of guess what. So sometimes you get those kind of clients for those who sell their services or their product. They tell you, hey, sell me at this particular price. You know what? I'm going to give you exposure and what have you. It's okay. I need the exposure and I need the money at the same time. So how about you buy it at the right price and still expose me? You understand? See, because for example, some customer is there so much bargaining. This pen. Let's say realistically, this pen cost 100 shilling. Realistically, that's when you make the minimal profit out of this pen. And somebody is telling you, please sell me at 90. That's a loss. You're trying to explain that's a loss. Realistically, I'm at a loss if I sell at that particular. But they're saying, no, I'm going to give you exposure. I know a lot of teachers who can actually come to you and buy. Yeah, but how can I bank on that? How am I even sure that you're going to tell them, indeed, you bought that pen from me? How am I sure? How can we substantiate that? You get what I'm saying? So I've seen a lot of people actually developing depression, stresses because of this. You find somebody is broke. But this individual, not really he's broke. The individual has not been paid. The guy is struggling. How can I even survive? What do I do? I have a lot of money. I myself am a victim of this kind of a scenario. I won't say it beyond that. To a point whereby you say, guess what? To hell with it. I'm not going to ask for that money. You just throw towel and be like, guess what? I'm going to look at the way I'm going to, pay my circle and pay my banks. And because, these are institutions. If you try to rub shoulders with them, definitely if you go the legal way, especially let's say you're not literate. I mean, you're not really literate per se. Let's say you're this kind of an individual who is used to just signing things, sign. You don't even read nothing. You just sign, and you submit. And then there's certain clause that says something different. And the moment you go before the door, and then they produce that clause there, didn't you sign this? Oh, wow, okay, this is what you said. And what happens now? And of course, this is Kenya, and I know Kenyans can understand what I'm talking about. This is a situation whereby if you have the money, you can actually overlook the... I really hope that one day things, and by the way, it's not even in Kenya, it's globally. Even those countries tend to pretend that they have a very nice legal system. I'm telling you, still lobbying is there. I understand, and that's the reality. But anyway, it is what it is. But anyway, I just wanted to share this video because this business, I'm not saying it does not work. There are people who are watching me, they're already in this kind of a business. I'm not saying overly it will never, ever work. No, I'm saying it's one of the trickiest business to start, especially you're this kind of an individual you are getting started by. What I can tell you, if you have an idea of starting this business, let's say next year, well, I'm making this video in 2024 of August. So if you have a plan of starting, not even next year, even next month or even tomorrow, whatever the time you're watching this video, please, the how you behave with the client A matters a lot how your future would be in that business. Be this kind of an individual who is like, guess what? These are my terms. Please front those terms as early as you can. So don't present yourself as a so nice, understanding, kind, wonderful, good person to supply those products to. These guys are there to make money. So what you're supposed to understand, let them know that you survive on vitamin M. Let them know that you really survive on money. That's what you need. And I'm telling you, won't be easy. They will always go for an individual whom they can twist. They go for an individual whom they can, twist them the way they want and flexible and all those kind of things. But when you're rigid, when I say rigid is when I say rigid, I don't mean you're rude. You stick to your words. Hey, guess what? Wow, amazing. By the way, my price is the most competitive one. And this is what I do. The maximum period of time I can give you to pay back is usually this period, and those are my terms. Would you go for that terms? Yes, we will go for that. Thank you. We are in business. And then you stick to your words. Supply them the quality product. Be a man of your words or lady of your words, and you can be able to do business. How you start this business matters a lot. But the moment you try to appear as an individual, oh, give me that tender. I'm gonna die tomorrow if I don't get that tender. No. In that process, then renegotiating yourself, you actually appear rude. I don't know. Can you imagine this? Let's say a Bentley, I don't know much about the prices of the Bentleys. Let's say maybe it goes for 200,000 US dollars. That's like 25 million, 23 million Kenyan shilling. Let's say this is an individual who wants to buy their car. The budget they have a maximum is 2 million. That's like 20,000 USD. So, don't you think it's so rude to sell a 200,000 worth of a car to somebody who has 20,000? To 20,000? Don't you think it's so rude? Fine, yeah, sure, it sounds rude, but the reality is this individual who is selling it at 200,000, there is a specific set of clients or customers that they target, and that customer is not you, obviously. So you have to understand, who are you targeting? Are you targeting individuals? Are you? Sometimes it's also good to do some background check. You go to an institution, you just leave your letter there. You would like to supply this and this. The next minute they call you. Yo, ask yourself, oof, okay, before me, were you guys getting this thing? And who was your supplier? And if it's possible, get a hold of those suppliers. Get to understand. Sometimes go to work with the non-teaching staffs, or maybe it's in school. Go to talk to people, who are closer to that thing that is. Ask them, hey, who was supplying the. Hey, in Kenya we say, kiliumana, uku kiliumana, meaning it was tough, but the last individual. Get to know what happens, because if that is their character, you probably gonna. Yo, I'm telling you, be very careful. This is a tricky one. This is a tricky one. It's a good one, can make you a millionaire, but it's a tricky one. You need to understand. Anyway, that's good just for speaking. And I've done my submission, and it's exactly 15 minutes, just like I promised. I also promised, or rather, you also said that you're going to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Did you? Come on, if you forgot to do that, go ahead and hit that subscription button. See you in the next one. And by the way, if you'd like to get my services, grab that number from the description of this specific video. Let's have a discussion. Nice and goodbye. See you in the next one.